Okay, call to order the Berea Tourism Commission meeting Wednesday, June 11th in council chambers at 304 Chestnut Street. I'm Will Gover, the tourism chair. Begin with a roll call. Laura Carpenter,
Here.
Jim Davis,
Here.
Donna Brewer,
Here.
Shelley Wolf,
Here.
Todd Holbrook,
Here.
David Gregory.
Here.
Again, I'm Will Gover and present. Move on with the approval of the agenda. If y'all would like to take a moment to look at that.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and second. Is any opposed? All right, agenda passes unanimously. All right, next up, approval of the minutes from the May 14th, 2025 meeting. If y'all would like to take a moment to look at those in your packet.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
Have a motion?
I'll second.
All right. Motion and second. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We're to number 5 on the list here. On the agenda is Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen Reimbursable Marketing Funds. And Pam's going to be speaking that. Hi.
I'm the president of the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen, and we're here today to request reimbursement for our marketing for last year's fair. Oh, thank you. Hello. Pamela Vatican, Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen, and we're here to ask for marketing reimbursement for 2024 fall market that was out at the Artisan Center. And today, our fair committee chair, Benjamin Maddox, will be speaking today, and he will talk a little bit about why we're asking you for these marketing funds. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. So if you remember, last month we came and proposed this to you all regarding the reimbursable expenses relating to advertising for the 2024 event at the Kentucky Artisan Center. I myself am a glass metal sculptor based out of Lexington, Kentucky, and I travel to fine art shows nationwide full-time. And representing as the Fall Committee Chairman, it is part of the Guild's purpose to promote the arts as a viable industry through community service, education, and leadership. I'm here to seek this advertisement reimbursement due to our history. We've always been part of Berea. We have always had our events in Berea. It started on 2 L&N train cars in '61 and has thus led us here to our new home at the Artisan Center. We had upwards of about 3,000 visitors from the interstate, those of which were from Huntington, West Virginia, Madisonville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, Morristown, Tennessee, Sandusky, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, and Cincinnati, Ohio, that came to the event to see Kentuckian artists. We have close working relationships with our returning sponsors, such as the Kentucky Arts Council, Kentucky Tourism, Arts and Heritage Cabinet, Jade Services, Cumberland Valley National Bank, Community Trust Bank, among many others. At this event, it was a little bit of a rough start for a first-year show, considering the water main broke, so we had a bit of a trudge to get through, but for those 3,000 visitors that came to see what we are capable of, it meant the absolute world. And excuse me. This reimbursement would be fed right back into the 2025 advertisement budget, where we intend to promote, again, via radio, TV, commercials, printed materials, social media marketing, in addition to a proposed billboard on I-75 for the 2025 year. You can see that Berea Tourism's logo and likeness is on the advertisement. And this year's advertisement, we're about to order new rack cards. And I would also like to thank you all for being sponsors again for this year. But are there any questions for the time being relating to the advertisement? Reimbursement?
Just from my understanding of things, so historically, what have we done? Is there a process in requesting funds prior to the event before this, or is this just on the back end? I guess my question is like, historically, what has the committee done before?
The committee, or necessarily the city of Berea, has sponsored events in the past for
Right.
the Kentucky Guild of Arts and Craftsmen's events. As I understand it, those budgets are separate. As far as Berea tourism, for the show last year, it was provided for tables, chairs, those sorts of things. And the sponsorship funds from last year were $1,000. And those were the same funds that were dedicated for this year as well. But asking for this $2,500 for the reimbursement goes directly towards the advertising for the event itself.
Okay.
Only
For this fall.
for this following show, which we will be using.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Will, since I'm new to this, was reading the other night, it says, without exception, successful project applicants must agree to have their project completed by June 30th, 2025.
Yes. So our event was last year, October 19th and 20th, 2024.
Okay.
So the project was completed by this year.
Thank you.
This is just an annual event, which we will continue to be having.
Have we continued to sponsor the advertising part in the past? Because I know we've done these before. It's been years ago.
It's been years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, before, but this is our first
First time.
time asking.
Okay.
As our new reorganized.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
If I may add, we have all documentation in place. The application does request that it is signed, canceled checks and invoices are submitted. I do have copies of all of those.
Okay. And just to be clear on record here, you're requesting the 2,500, is it?
So the advertising budget, it was within our budget for last year, but we are requesting $3,482, half of our total advertising receipts of $6,964 via what the program states.
Okay.
Which will be funneled back into this year's advertising for our fall market.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's in this year's budget.
Any other questions for them before we move into voting on this matter? All right. Thank you all for presentation there.
Thank you all for your time once more.
Thank you again, thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to go ahead and move on to, I'm open for a motion on the funds.
I'll make a motion for reimbursement of $3,492.20.
I thought they were just asking for 2,500
No, they're asking
for the 3,500.
$34.92.20 is what I'm reading.
Yeah, I looked at the wrong line item. That's why I was questioning. I thought he'd said 2,500. The commercial was 2,500. They had other advertising once I got further in there in the
The only
packet as
concern I
well.
have been, I've been here when the other people have asked, and I don't remember that large of amount being given, you know, when I was kind of want to be fair across the board. You know, so that's my only concern. Of course, I know I do believe we have the funds left over, you know, but last year I don't think we gave this much.
And what is the amount of the funds that's left over from last year? We. 10,000, the whole thing was left over.
Was this not the funds that we gave from? Because we did give. That's a good question. Because we did give several out last year, and I know they're going to be coming up again, too. Those same ones. I've sat here long enough to see the same ones
But it's,
coming back.
but it should start over in July 1.
July
whatever-
1?
Whatever's in the new budget.
Okay, so the funds are there then. Okay.
But the policy says half, if I'm correct in saying that.
You're correct. With a submission of receipts,
Yes.
the way that it is written up and the way that the program is designed is that we can give up to half the amount that was spent, and that is up to you all for the final dollar amount, but up to half of the amount that they had spent. And that is, the project, as it reads, is to be completed in the current fiscal year, which it was in October, and that we have all of the documentation on file, and I have all of their documentation.
All right, do we, any more discussion on this amount? We have a motion on the floor on it. Should all like to discuss this further, the amount, or?
No, I'll just second. You made a motion, I'll second it.
All right. All right, we have a motion and second. Is there any opposed to moving forward the amount presented there of 34? Put it on record here.
$34.92 and 20 cents.
$34.92 and 20 cents. All right, is there any opposed to this? All right. Yep, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. My apologies there. Laura Carpenter,
Yes.
Jim Davis,
Aye.
Donna Brewer,
Yes.
Shelley Wolf,
Yes.
Todd Holbrook,
Yes.
David Gregory,
Aye.
and we'll go over and I'll vote yes on that as well. That passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 6 on the agenda. First Friday, Berea, past, present, and future, Allie Blair.
Hello, everybody. Allie Blair. I am here wearing the hat of the founder and executive director of First Friday Berea. I also co-own and operate Rebel Studio and Lounge and Paganal Public House. We have occupied a space on Chestnut Street for the last 5 years. Live music venue, lots of programming, and lots of reasons to gather different circles of the community together. There are quite a few new faces, so I'm happy to meet you all. I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of the history of First Friday Berea, where we started, kind of the evolution of the series, where we are now, and then look into the future, at least for the next 3 years. So I'm going to start with our mission. Our mission is 3 bullet points. The first one is fortify community, and what this means to us is from longtime residents to newcomers to town to college students, our community comes together on the lawn to share in the joy of free concerts featuring diverse musical genres. These gatherings create rare and meaningful connections across social divides. By transforming underused public spaces into vibrant community hubs, we foster deeper connections between neighbors who might otherwise never interact. Our events aren't just about music, they're about building the relationships that make Berea feel like home for everyone. Next is diversify the arts. We're passionate about bringing music to Berea that celebrates both our roots and our evolving identity. On our stage, you hear everything from traditional Appalachian to contemporary global sounds, creating a musical tapestry as diverse as our community itself. Our programming deliberately centers women musicians, culturally diverse artists, and emerging local talent alongside touring performers. By keeping our events free and accessible, we're sending a clear message. Exceptional cultural experiences belong to everyone, not just those who can afford a ticket. We take this further to invest in Berea's youth with leadership initiatives to nurture teens who will shape our arts community for generations to come. And last, amplify Berea. Our concerts and events elevate what makes Berea special. Our unique cultural heritage, creative spirit, and strong sense of place. We build meaningful partnerships that address community beyond the arts, from food security initiatives to environmental sustainability. By highlighting local entrepreneurs, supporting youth engagement, and bringing diverse voices to our stage, we're not just putting on concerts. We're nurturing a vibrant ecosystem where creativity and community thrive together. When we amplify Berea, we're telling our town's story in a way that honors our past while boldly envisioning our future. So this all started actually in 2013. If you kind of go back in time, this was before the creation of the Artist Accelerator program. That was an idea at that time. There was a lot of focus on the Old Town Artisan Village by the Tourism Commission. What do we do as our artists, our studio artists are aging out, heading towards retirement? How do we fill empty storefronts? And Judy Sizemore was working on a presentation for the Tourism Commission. She was consulting with you all. She just had 2013 Festival of Learn Shops data. She did a lot of conversations with a lot of different business owners and organizations. And she talked to us at that time because we were putting in an eatery down in the Old Town Artisan Village where there currently was no food. So people would come down there and they would leave. They would shop for a little bit, but couldn't get a drink, couldn't get food, and then they would leave. So we were opening a restaurant there and started talking to Judy, started coming to Tourism Commission meetings. Belle Jackson was the director at that time. And we visioned what it would be like to have kind of a community block party that would happen. And we presented to the Tourism Commission this idea, and tourism said, well, that's something that we're already exploring. They had gone to kind of field trip. The commission had gone to, I think, Wilmington, North Carolina to look at their First Friday event. They had been kind of exploring this kind of a program. So when we presented this idea to do these concerts from May to October, they said, well, let's look at 3 months of this and see how it goes. So you can kind of see the before and after of the evolution of the program. So from 2014 to 2016, really what tourism said to us when they approved funding allocation for this event was increase foot traffic in Old Town and try to become sustainable as a program. Those were the two things that the commission said to us. So we began this grassroots block party, and people were really, really excited about it. They turned out. The first event, I remember asking Bill, do we need to have our first responders there? Is there a permit process? Do we need to close the streets? And Bill's like, no, we don't need to do any of that stuff. And we got about halfway through that first event, and Bill came and found me, and she's like, so we're definitely shutting down the streets next time. So we've kind of grown from there. So kind of the evolution actually, I think I put these in the wrong order, so let me start here. So the tourism support of the series started in 2014. And I went back and checked all of my records for this presentation and put in the amount of cash that the Tourism Commission supported the series with and in-kind advertising. I believe that the 2019 figure also includes an allocation of a line item in the budget as well as the marketing reimbursement grants, because that's not how you all did things in the beginning of this series. So, a lot of support from the Tourism Commission because they said to me, we're looking at doing this, we can't do this, so we would have to hire a consultant to come in and do this kind of program. And we were kind of walking in saying this is something that we can kind of put together, and they decided to allocate those funds. So 2014, 2015, and 2016, you can see $15,000, $20,000. In 2015, actually, tourism came to us and said that was a great year. Can we do it again? We don't have the capacity to produce this program in-house. Will you do it again? And so we agreed to do 6 more months. And then 2016, that's when funding really shifted. There was a lot of property purchases, and the tourism reallocated line items in the budget so that a larger fund that supported community events and programs got reduced pretty significantly. I think that's kind of what you all have in your budgets right now. And so that figure dropped down to $2,000. We still made 5 events happen with a lot of support from a lot of people, but that's when we knew that we had to look for outside funding in order to kind of sustain this series. So that's when the Levitt Foundation came into our life, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about them. In 2017, with Levitt as a partner, Tourism Commission came on as a partner as well, with the Berea Arts Council and the Entrepreneurship for the Public Good program, and applied for this program. There was a line item for August concerts in your all's budget, and that got reallocated towards this to kind of bolster both of those events, First Friday Berea and the August concert series. Then we moved to 2018. Tourism was a presenting sponsor, and those events went from 6 events or 5 events to 10 events. That's part of this grant that we receive. And then 2019, $7,800. So just to kind of let you know the evolution and the support that the Tourism Commission has had for this program. We have received no cash since. We get in-kind support from the city, but Tourism Commission has not supported this series since 2019. I'll go back really quickly. So 2017 to 2020 is the next period. This is when we became a Levitt AMP grantee. The way that you do that is you fill out an extensive application, you have partnership letters, you have approval from the municipality or whoever owns the public space that gives you permission to use that space. And then you have to go through an online voting process. You have to prove to them that you have community support. And this is a $25,000 annual matching grant. We have to raise $25,000 to match it in order to secure the grant. And then that happened 2017, 2018, 2019. And then 2020, we all know what happened. Here comes COVID. But the Levitt Foundation was an unbelievable partner because they said, you don't have to worry about your grant. We're going to roll those funds over to 2021. They started having monthly town hall meetings with all of their grantees. This program happens all over the United States, literally from Florida to California. And this year it's in both Hawaii and Alaska. So lots of cities that kind of gather in the same way. They also have giant pavilions that produce 50 free concerts every summer. We're going to be partners with you. You don't have to worry about the funding. We're going to roll that over. We're going to figure out how we still do this work together through COVID. Then, because of COVID, and I believe that David Gregory was the city administrator at that point in time when this happened. And we said, what are we going to do? The little green space in Old Town is very small. And when we were planning this, we had plan A, plan B, plan C on how these things might happen. Are we going to have to spray paint pods 6 feet away from each other? You couldn't get very many people in that space. So we went to Mayor Fraley, we went to David Gregory, and looked at other spaces around the city. And we were offered to move down to the city park expansion into that football field. It is an underutilized space. I think there's practices and maybe kite flying and things that happen there, but it's not regularly used like some of the other fields. And so it became our new home in 2021. We worked with the city to produce the 4th of July celebration. We provided the infrastructure for the music and worked with Parks and Rec to make that happen. It was an extremely successful event. We had folks who were department heads and our liaison with the police department who said that in 23 years of working the 4th of July, he thought it went exceptionally. So we had a really great time and had an all Kentucky lineup because of that being kind of a COVID safety measure. We did not invite artists to come across state lines. And that way we kind of got different press and media attention than we had before, because we purposefully have to have a diverse lineup that has local, regional, and nationally touring musicians. This year we could focus just on Berea and Kentucky, and a lot of people know those names, so they kind of came out in droves, especially after being apart from everyone for the last year. So just a little bit about our previous series. We are just finished concert number 4 for this year, but in 2024, just to give you some highlights, we produced 10 concerts. We had 150 individual artists on our stage, 15 different musical genres that were represented, over 5,000 people in attendance. We have kind of our metrics there with how much social media following and weekly newsletter recipients that we have. But we also work with Berea Kids Eat. Not only do we have food trucks there, but we are a feeding site in the summer months for Berea Kids Eat works with a food vendor to make sure that their meal meets the USDA guidelines. And then children, families can go up, they can order that meal, they get the novelty and the experience of getting the food from the food truck. They don't have to pay for it, and Berea Kids Eat Grow Appalachia covers the bill for that. So over 900 youth meals distributed, which kind of lets you know how many young people that we have at our events. I will say there's a couple of different, and I can share this presentation with you all after the fact, but a couple of different organizational, like Americans for the Arts, that looks at your population size, where you are, and helps to formulate how much spending people come into your community with. So they're eating out, they're getting gas, they're shopping. So the last time that I did this math, $29 is what every person in attendance is averaging spending. And then if you look at kind of how we've leveraged the grant funding from the Levitt Foundation, as well as the matching funds that we've raised, so $220,000 that the Levitt Foundation has invested into our community since 2017 through this year, $220,000. That's well over $1 million worth of cultural programming that we've been able to produce for free if you do the math. 2020, COVID, Black Lives Matter, lots of reckoning. So the Levitt Foundation really took a lot of look at what they're doing. How are they choosing to hold on to funds because as a foundation, they don't have to distribute those funds. The IRS says that they're only obligated to spend a minimum of 5% of their assets. That's all they have to do annually. So they said, why are we telling communities that we can't fund them? Why are we saying no to potential partnerships when we have all of this money in the bank? They have $150 million in assets. They decided that they were going to be part of a movement in philanthropy to really examine how to be equitable. And so they decided they were going to become a spin down foundation. They developed a 20-year runway, and they're going to distribute all of their assets in those 20 years, and then they're going to no longer exist. So they are working closely with the grantees that are already in their networks, those of us who have been doing this for a long time. And we have 2 other of these series in Kentucky, both in Middlesboro and in Whitesburg. Middlesboro was the first year that the grant came out. We came in 2 years later. Whitesburg came in the year after that. They've invested a lot of money into Eastern Kentucky because they know that this is a way, the creative economy, and it helps to heal social divides when you can bring people together this way. So $150 million, they announced this to us. They bring their grantees together for convening a conference every year. They announced this to us, and they told us that the program was shifting from a 1-year cycle to a 3-year cycle, and there were 3 of those cycles, 9 years. And as long as we were following the grant guidelines, had the partnerships in place, that we could really expect that funding to be supported for us for 9 years. So we're now 3 years into that. We're looking at the next 3 years. So what's the future of live music here in Berea? 2026 to 2028 is the cycle that we're looking at, and we're looking at 3-year partnerships. We are having conversations with a lot of people, and we're going beyond a fiscal year. We're going beyond these annual budgets. How do we really kind of look at long-term partnerships so that we can really deepen impact from all different sides? Cross-sector partnerships are really important to us. So Levitt Foundation has created a new program. They piloted it last year in Chattanooga, and they also created a new program called Vibe that is for much larger cities. So we won't really focus on that one because we don't qualify for it. But this concert series that we've done has been focused on one particular place and getting people to come there really week after week as a way to get them connected to that space, as a way to kind of deal with vandalism in underutilized spaces. If you have somebody coming week after week, those kinds of things diminish. After COVID, they changed the frequency and the schedule, and we kind of got to determine that a little bit more. So then we started doing concerts all in the month of August, 2 concerts a week. And then last year, they created the opportunity for us to do it 2 concerts a month for 5 months. So we kind of went back to our roots in First Friday and monthly concerts. This block opportunity means it's a 3-year grant cycle, just like what we've been doing. It is 10 events, but you can choose multiple public locations in your city. This is kind of the dream for me since the beginning of visioning this program, because I imagined First Friday as a night when our galleries, our studio artists would keep their doors open late. People could kind of gallery hop. We would have music all around town. We focused on this one area of town, but this gets me back to where I wanted to be from the beginning, where we could take this program to multiple places all over town. The scale could be very different from what it is down in the park right now, which feels way more like a music festival. The city stage, big production, laser lights, all the things that you kind of get at you go to a big music festival. But this would allow us to have intimate spaces, to think about sensory-friendly concerts. How do we go into different areas of town that do not have the same kind of access? I'm currently thinking, how do we get a concert at Exit 77? What happens up there? They don't have any of this kind of programming, so can we take it to them? Can we go to other areas in town that we already have existing partnerships, and can we build new partnerships? So Glades Village is here, the Glades, Community Garden, working with Berea Kids Eat and Grow Appalachia. I love the thought of what happens on Short Street and Main Street, and is there opportunity for a campus kind of event, a back-to-school event up on campus. Fee Park, we've done things with the farmers market there. We've also done things with the farmers market at the pavilion. That is our stage down in the park as it is currently. And then last year, we did an event on the community school lawn, and we are doing that again this year. That's actually our next concert coming up on July 5th. It's going to be a mobile art exhibit. We're having a big parade, working with lots of different partners, the Berea Arts Council, and us, and some artists out of Rockcastle County have secured funding from the Kentucky Arts Council and the Kentucky Historical Society and the 250th celebrations. Lots of people are doing those events right now. This is supporting this parade, which is a big kind of art parade, a moving art exhibit, and we're going to have a 9-piece Mardi Gras style brass band that is going to lead the parade down through North Broadway, through the park, over to the community school, and then we're just going to have a big old good time. So I kind of talked about the difference in the programs, but this AMP program, the AMP stands for to amplify a community's pride and a city's unique character, enrich lives through the power of free live music, and illustrate the importance of vibrant public spaces. So we move down to block. That stands for building layers of community, and that is going into all of the other areas in town, different neighborhoods, so that you can broaden the reach of your series. These are partners that we are already talking to about what it looks like for the next 3 years to work together. Grow Appalachia, Berea Kids Eat, Berea Home Village actually came to us. I stumbled into a meeting that I thought was at City Hall, and it was actually on Zoom, and Berea Home Village was at their meeting, and they said, hey, we need to talk to you. They have been doing a lot of work internally and for their membership. If you're unfamiliar with that organization, they are helping aging Bereans stay in their homes. Now they want to really combat social isolation and look out and do work out into the community. So we're talking with them about what a partnership looks like. Old Town businesses, I met with them last week. They have started some of those kind of new business owners down there that are investing either by purchasing businesses and buildings down there or occupying city-owned property down there. They are producing events, and they kind of harken back to what First Friday was like when we were first down there, and that's the kind of thing that they want to see again. So we're talking to them about what is it like to bring a concert or two down there. That's where the Guild is. We've got an ongoing relationship with the Guild and the Berea Arts Council. The artists that I mentioned that are out of Rockcastle County, the Farmers Market, Berea College is a sponsor of our concert series this year, and we're trying to build more inroads with them. Chestnut Street businesses, College Square businesses, maybe you all. So I have not come here having had the conversations that I would like to have had with some of you individually to come in with an ask. But it's not going to keep me from making one. We have a program next week. We've been doing this in the past where we kind of have creative networking. We engage our artists and creatives and anybody who's kind of working from home and needs a place to interact with other folks. We've been doing this at Our Space at Rebel Rebel. We did this a couple of years ago. And the one that we're doing next Tuesday night is going to be kind of to talk and present this material to all of the stakeholders and some of the people that we've been meeting with, and maybe folks that we haven't had a chance to meet with yet. And then we might break out and think about what are the places in town that we should be doing this and who wants to be involved as we move forward. I put the dates for this series just so that you all see. We have July 5th is the parade concert. The 8th is a pop-up with the Berea Farmers Market at the Chestnut Street Pavilion. And then our August and September events are back down at the park. We do those on a Friday night and a Saturday night, really as a means to try to get people to come into town and stay. We have created different itineraries for people, just like tourism often does, where it's like, are you the person that wants to come hike the Pinnacles, go eat at Native Bagel, and then go take a class down in the Old Town Artisan Village, and then you have a concert at the end of the day? Are you more of the person that wants to go to Silver Creek Bike Park and then go hike the Pinnacles and then come out to the concert? Go to Honeysuckle, then come to the concert maybe. We know that people come in from out of state. People tell us that they have driven 6 hours because of the band that we have on the stage. If we were able to really look at increasing our funding, this $40,000 is an increase from $30,000 from Levitt. That allows us to think about who can we get. If we have name recognition on our stage, people will come out. People will cross state lines. They will drive across the state to see an artist, and then they'll stay here and spend money. It's basically all I've got for you. I would love that Berea Tourism saw this as an opportunity to build a relationship, to take what you all have already been doing with the Chestnut Street Concert Series, where you started with the August Concert Series, and think about, how does this become a signature event for Berea? How are we working together? How are we taking this program all over, deepening impact beyond just music? Music is the vehicle. There's so much more that we're doing here to really connect people and really vision what the future of Berea is like. So I think that that's all I got. I'm happy to answer any questions if y'all have any.
All right. Well, thank you, Allie, for your presentation there. Before we move into questions, I'd like to see, one thing I'd like to see for the commission is, if we could get a proposal of what you would like to where we could review it and have a little more time to review that. And also, if you could contact our executive director, maybe set up for, I would suggest maybe a workshop session where we could discuss the details of this a little
Yep.
bit further with a little more time. But I'll move in if anyone has any questions at this point. Yep.
Ally, correct me if I'm wrong, are these two different grants, the 25 and the 40, or is it 25 bumped up to 40?
They've changed it. So it went from 25. This last 3 years, the one that we're in now, went to 30. Now they're increasing it to 40.
Okay.
You can technically choose if you want to do 7 concerts or 10 concerts, and they are giving you so much money, $4,000 per concert. Okay. You have to at least do 7, but we'd like to do 10, which is what we've been doing. Yeah. And I will just say, I did meet with Nancy last week. We were meeting about Juneteenth, and then I talked about this opportunity. We have a grant. Our application for this is due on July 1st. I know that doesn't give you all or any kind of bureaucracy time to run its course. So I just did want to say that, but I'm happy to continue conversating with you all and figuring out if we can set up some meetings so that we can talk about this a little bit further.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Without any objection, I would like to request that y'all make the request to put this as a workshop item and an actual written proposal of what y'all would like to see from tourism to where our board could review it. If there's no objection on that, that would be my suggestion on it. All right, so if you'd like to contact Nancy to get that set up as a workshop item where we could discuss this further and everything, and a written proposal would be excellent for all the members to review. I appreciate your time.
Thank you all for the time. Appreciate it.
All right. Moving on to number 7 on the agenda, the media report. Danny Gift.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Got a few things to share with you from the previous month. One thing that you'll notice, I won't go through all the numbers as usual, but of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out. You're going to start to see a decrease in our total reach. That's our big one, and a lot of that is because our spring our spring campaign is winding down. So as you know, we usually see that really big jump. We saw it start in March when we started hitting over 1 million accounts reached in Facebook, and that will trickle down as that winds down. You'll see it pick back up in the fall with our next big campaign. A couple things been working on: approved ad designs for Long Weekends, Blue Ridge Outdoors, and the Tennessee Magazine. Those are going to be on your second page. Those in particular, those are co-op ads with the state. So those ads, when you look at them in the magazine, they are made to match everyone else's. So that's why they all kind of look the same. The L&N Day and Pavilion concert posters have been dispersed throughout the community. The Pavilion concert banners have been printed and are currently in use. Those go up the Monday before every concert. Did something a little bit different with those this year, made them bigger, made them brighter. Hopefully we would get some attention along that fence line. I also designed the travel host ad, which is on the third page of the report, and submitted calendar dates for the travel host summer issue. Digital projects, approved the L&N Day ad designs. That's actually what you see on the top of that third page, and created and sent out the June monthly newsletter. A couple other projects. I created and scheduled multiple daily posts for Facebook and Instagram, and scheduled the WKYT in-studio interview for the Craft Festival, and I will be going up and doing that on July 2nd. So, pretty short report.
Thank you, Danny. Any questions of Danny on this report? Yes. All right, with no questions, I'll move on to number 8 on the agenda, which is also Danny, with the Crafts Festival report.
Thank you. I've been knee-deep in Berea Craft Festival for several months now, and, you know, we're getting pretty close to it. We're almost exactly 1 month out, so kind of down to the wire, figuring out last-minute things. Just to give you a heads up on the schedule, it's July 11th through 13th. And so Friday and Saturday, it's going to be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, it will be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is a 1-hour reduction on every day, and that actually came straight from the surveys we received back from the artists last year. We noticed a major drop-off in traffic for the last few years, from that 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then from the 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Sunday. And one of the suggestions that we got most was, can we cut out an hour earlier? So that actually helps us out considerably, especially on the last day, with getting everyone out of there, because if you all have spent much time up at Indian Fort, there is pretty much one way in and one way out, and 106 artists to get through that one way in and one way out. July 10th will be our setup day for vendors, tents, and signage, and July 9th will be our ground marking day, where we go out and just set up the flags with the numbers so everybody knows where to go. So far, we have 108 booths confirmed. We have had a couple cancellations, and I'm looking into our waiting list to see if we've got anybody who would like to fill those spaces. 7 food and drink vendors confirmed, and the entertainment has been confirmed. I'm finishing up the contracts for that this week. Financially, we have collected $27,275. Oh, sorry, that's what we'd collected as of the time I printed this report. As of now, we have collected $28,825, and that is with $32,400 expected from vendors. Final invoices have gone out. Final payments are due at the end of this week. The Clover credit card machines that we use for both our ticket sales, our t-shirt sales, all of that, they have been ordered. They'll get here usually about a week or two prior to the event. And the state tax information for each vendor will be turned in this week. If you've never had to do that process, it is kind of a long one because we have to turn in information for every single person who sells anything on our grounds. So knee-deep in paperwork right now. The portable restrooms, on-site dumpster, golf carts have all been booked. Tables and chairs rented. The overnight security and parking crew have been confirmed. The artist appreciation meal for Friday night has been ordered. We always get that from Lee's. They do a great job coming out and setting that up. The vendor map has been completed and will be sent out this week. All of our check-in materials have already been printed and are ready to go. Scheduling, the tourism staff scheduling has been submitted to Nancy for the July calendar. And I'm currently finalizing volunteer lists. We could always use more hands, so if you know anybody who might want to come out for a day or 2 or 3, just let me know. And the Berea Arts Council will be partnering with us to run the kids tent this year. So I'm really thankful to Kiana and Tava for taking that up. They jumped in and volunteered last year, and this year we're making it more of a partnership. And we're really excited to have the Arts Council involved. The t-shirts and tote bags have been ordered, and I actually got an email yesterday that they are already completed. And you can see at the bottom what our t-shirts look like for this year. For marketing, we have scheduled over 30 Facebook and Instagram posts, not only on the tourism page, but on the Craft Festival page as well. All of the RPM paid advertising has been scheduled, and new banners and signs have been ordered. And that is pretty much the Craft Festival in a nutshell. It's a lot.
Thank you, Danny. Any questions of Danny on the Crafts Festival?
What about the weather?
Well, funny you say that, because last year was the first year that we had no rain, and every single one of us was begging for rain, because the only thing worse than being rained on out at Indian Fort is 95-degree weather and no rain at Indian Fort.
Are the booths, your vendor booths, are they up or down from last year?
They're right at the same right now
Okay.
with the cancellation, so I'm hoping to pop a couple more in and get us up a little bit.
All right. No other questions. Thank you, Danny.
Thanks.
On to number 9 on the agenda, group tour report, Emily Reynolds.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. To maybe possibly better answer your question, Mr. Davis, about the weather, my Farmer's Almanac says that we might have a little break in the rain for that weekend. We'll have rain the week before and the rain the week after, but maybe not that weekend. So anyway, considering the last meeting we had, I discussed past and future tours, so you kind of already know what the tours we just saw were. I've decided to discuss more on conferences and some changes that we've made to some tours that we do commonly for for a company. So in terms of conferences, as you know, after our last meeting, me and Deborah went straight to the KTIA Spring Travel Forum, and we learned a lot of valuable information there. We also got to see Nancy there before she officially started back in Berea. But we were able to attend different, I guess you could call them breakout sessions or whatever terminology you would like to use, workshops in terms of how to better your community with tourism. So one of the workshops we attended discussed 7 key ingredients that you can use in your town's tourism to not just help on a professional level, but the community as a whole. So we got to bring home a lot of good information on that. And we also attended a work session in regards to media, so doing interviews with news stations or other reporters and that type to help better answer their questions, get them what they need. And then also, you know, kind of, I don't know how to word this, I guess, but, you know, just help the reporters a little bit more in terms of what we're doing and how to, you know, accurately display that. And then also, I was not able to attend this last workshop, but Deborah took extensive notes for me and has shared those with me. I did have to leave a little early for this conference as I was on vacation. But there was a work session about motor coach groups as a whole, or not just motor coach groups, but groups touring together as a whole. And so that's all very nice, very beneficial information to receive as well. It really touched up on how important it is to maintain those relationships with the companies you already work with, so they know you as a community and as an organization, so that they are more likely to continue coming back to your area, which kind of leads me into the tour changes at the bottom here. So a company that we have that comes to Berea a lot, they are Colette Tours. I have been talking a lot with one of their employees named Ariana, and she attended one of the Colette Tours, the last two, not the last two, but 2 tours back. She was with them on that tour to kind of see what needed to be changed in the aspects of their tours, because Colette, as well as other companies that I've been talking to, they're seeing a drop in ticket sales, not just for the tours that are coming through Berea, of course, but all across the board. So they are just wanting to know what's going on, what can we change to possibly bring more people in. They're not sure if it's the economy just yet, or if it's, all the political unrest that's going on, but they're trying to figure out what can we do to maybe encourage more ticket sales when we're seeing a drop. So I've been in discussion with her, and as I've shared before, where we added that aspect of the driving history tour with Colette, where typically they just stay in that Old Town area, they're wanting to expand more out into our community. So not just stay in the Old Town area, but also go to the College Square area, maybe a little bit more, and also to the Pinnacles, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. For the motor coach groups, we tend to see, seniors. Like we have some groups that the youngest people on the bus are literally 90 years old. We had a bus last year where the youngest person was 90. So for them to want to go out into our community and the outdoors and walk that, just the paved path, of course, but to hear what the Forestry Outreach Center has to say and how they keep our ecosystems in that area up to date, that's kind of amazing. So doing that driving history tour, getting them out into the community to see a little bit more, has really opened up doors in terms of other tours. And Colette is a huge company that their word of mouth is very important in the industry. A lot of if you watch game shows at all, a lot of the prize packages for vacations that they include are provided by Colette. I was able to learn that when I went to that Going on Faith conference. And so, it's very important that a company like Colette really likes Berea, and so that their word of mouth gets out to other companies as well. So anyway, that's really all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions for me.
Maybe the new 90 or 60.
It
You know?
Yeah, maybe so.
could be.
Well, thank you, Emily.
Yep, thank you.
And on to number 10 on the agenda, Director's Report, Nancy Conley.
Good evening. I wanted to first thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve back in Berea. I'm happy to be back home. The same report is what I've already sent you, so I know some of you probably already have questions, but we'll hit all the highlights. You have a budget status report included in your packet today. It should be attached to the stapled in the back of the report, the director's report. This status report is going to show you the year-to-date amount that has been spent in each of those line item accounts, as well as the revenue that has been received. You received the FY 25-26 budget and narratives as they were presented to the Berea City Council at their last work session on May 27th. So all of you should have electronic copies of that now. The first budget reading was held June 3rd. at the Berea City Council meeting, and the second reading will take place on June 17th. The RFP for the 15-passenger van did indeed go out May 19th. We received 3 sealed bids, Paul Miller Ford out of Lexington, Alton Blakely out of Somerset, and Don Franklin out of London. Those bids were opened at the city clerk's office on May 30th at 3:30 that day, and the bid from Don Franklin Ford out of London was accepted. That vehicle is the 2024 Ford Transit 15-passenger wagon. We're working to obtain a quote and draft design concept from RidgeNet out of Somerset for the total vehicle wrap. I'll present that to all of you for review and input. Recently, we've had security cameras installed inside and outside at the Berea Welcome Center and the Berea Gallery and Event Center. Donna Angel, Brian Reed, the project manager, all the contractors, and everyone that took part in that Berea Gallery and Event Center executed a beautiful, beautiful facility. That facility and project is pretty much complete. There's a few small things that we're still working on. Rental bookings are already on the calendar thanks to Donna Angel and all of her hard work with that project. We've recently reviewed the media manager and program manager positions. As you know, those have been budgeted for current fiscal year and next fiscal year. And so we are hoping to get those posted in the very near future. Looking at our tourism events and kind of collaborations, if you've not been on visitberea.com on the event calendar lately, you need to go. There's event after event after event. There is something for every person to enjoy in Berea. Danny put together some event listings just for this week that she posted on social platforms. I think it was 3-4 pages. Usually you'll see kind of, a screenshot of one image, and she had to do multiple images to get all of just this week's events. There's a lot of really great events, from outdoor recreation opportunities, free bicycle rentals, and so forth this coming up weekend. But our L&N Day is June 14th from 9 to 4 in the Old Town Artisan Village, so that's this Saturday. It's a free event. The things you'll see will be train memorabilia and different items like that for sale on the back platform. There are 8 different vendors coming for that event. We've got 2 different railroad clubs coming. So we've got the Central Kentucky Railroad and the Bluegrass Railroad Club coming to set up their model train displays. One is interactive. It'll be in our front lobby of the Welcome Center. It's a great opportunity for kids to kind of have a hands-on experience with those model trains. The Berea Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department will sponsor a car show on North Broadway that will be from the intersection of Chestnut Street and North Broadway down to the 4-way stop of Artist Circle, Adams Street, and Broadway. The road closure will extend just a little bit farther than that, though, to allow for handicap parking access and food trucks in that area. And so the road closure will actually extend all the way down to the Poke Boat, the former Poke Boat business, right there after the cabin of Old Town. Washington Street will remain open for that, and we will have staff at that road closure to allow anyone that would need any accessible parking to come in and park in that section from Adams Street to Washington. We're also excited to share that the Chuck Wagon Old Fashioned Soda will be set up at the event, as well as an ice cream truck. Sunday is the Juneteenth event at the Chestnut Street Pavilion from 4 to 7. It's a great day of celebration featuring tributes to the history and significance of that day. Live music, food trucks, and much more happening there at the pavilion. As you're aware, we made the very hard decision to cancel the Berea Festival of Learn Shops for this July. We certainly hope to have a very strong program offered in the fall and then again next summer. June 26th is the Summer Cookout event planned for the Old Town Artisan Village. This is a collaboration with Maddox Made, Fire and Fern Glass Studio, and Top Drawer Gallery. They have come together for a May Day event that already took place, and then this next event, which is June 26th, again from 5 to 8. There'll be a lot of activities and music on the front lawn. We hope to have the Welcome Center open and staffed for restrooms and availability there, as well as having someone on site. I think that most of you all may be aware of the billboard that had some creative kind of damage in a storm off exit 77 on I-75. It's the southbound. If you're headed southbound, it's a right-hand read. I'm working to have some creative worked up for that. I'll present it to all of you for your input and review. I kind of sent you a few kind of ideas on my thought process with that already. We are working with RPM. I think that you all and Danny have already met, provided a lot of input, looking at going heavy on digital and not so much print advertising in the coming year. They are developing that plan. They're just about done, and so we'll want to hopefully set up a work session to review that, their ideas, and kind of garnish some more input from all of you. The state marketing co-op application for the marketing reimbursement program has been submitted to the State Department of Tourism. It's an annual program where each community throughout the state that has an active tourism office that's been around for at least a year can apply for some marketing reimbursement. And then lastly, you have our visitor count number and monthly comparison. We are trending a little low compared to this time last year. We're hoping to see an increase in that after July, or in July. I believe June is starting off very strong, and I think that when we report numbers in July, you'll see, hopefully, that we've got an increase in those numbers. And do you all have any questions for me? Anything else that you'd like me to share in the future? Yes, sir.
Nancy, under E, you got media manager and program manager positions. Are these new positions or just positions that need to be filled?
These are not new. No, they have been budgeted and have been filled for quite a few years until maybe the last 8 months or so. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
That was Alex, I know it was Alex Brown, that was her job.
Becky Brown and
I'm
Liz
sorry.
Todd,
Sister, yeah.
correct.
Nancy, I got a question for you. In your report, you talk about the vehicle, that's the bids. I know June 30th ends the budget for this current fiscal year. Have you made that purchase, or do you think you'll get that before June 30th?
That's correct. The paperwork might be at City Hall today. It was being overnighted.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Nancy? All right, well, thank you, Nancy, and welcome back. All right, moving to number 11, public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight? All right. All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Sipple. I'm owner of Get Outside Kentucky and former tourism commissioner as well. I've been following via online meetings and recordings to kind of keep on track of everything, to kind of see what's going on. So I noticed a few things, especially some budget items that changed 1 month after a couple were replaced, which were also voted on. And so I'm just here to kind of ask a few open-ended questions. Can anyone explain where and why those funds were slashed or if they were moved? I'm aware that there is an established application for the procedure on how to receive those grant fundings, but that's specific to advertising and marketing. So will there ever be a way for the community to get some of these funds for Berea tourism collaborations and other ways to grow Berea? I just wanted to remind that all commissioners, you all have a voice. If there's questions, please ask. People, discuss thoroughly about the direction tourism must take in order to sustain our culture as well as Berea's small businesses. You all have free will and free thought. That's all been given to us, so be the light Berea is needing. Thank you, good luck, and community members as well as myself are not too far away.
Thank you, Alex. Any other public comments? All right. I'm going to move on to commissioner comments.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, July 9th is the setup and marking day at the Berea Craft Festival ground locations. That should also be our next Tourism Commission meeting. May I ask, please, for consideration on rescheduling that meeting?
Yes, we will consider that, and I'll go ahead and, where that falls on that, I'll go ahead and bring that up. Could I get a motion to, I'll go ahead and make that motion, so to cancel that meeting due to it falling on the Crafts Fair.
A second.
All right. Is there any opposed to canceling that meeting? All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Nancy. Well, that's a busy time for Berea with the Crafts Fair. All right. Moving on to commissioner comments, I'd just like to say, thank you to Danny and all the staff for filling in. I know this year's been very challenging, with everything, positions open and everything. And I'd like to say welcome to Nancy and look forward to glad to have you back in Berea. And appreciate all the work that's going into L&N Day. And hopefully the rain holds off. I know that's been many months of planning and everything. And that's what I appreciate, all the work with the staff and everything. But continuing on here to commissioner comments. Anybody else like to say anything?
I want to reiterate what you said on thank you, Danny and Emily, and you all have worked tirelessly. I know there's been so much movement in our staff, and you all have picked it up and just ran with it, and it's not gone unnoticed, and I appreciate it. And I like this new squad of people we're working together. I love to see the audience, and I didn't recognize you until you got up here. I like his new look, Alex. But it's nice to see the community. This is what we need. We need to gather and make the best decisions for Berea.
Will,
Yep.
question, comment?
Yep.
Okay. Danny, thank you for your hard work these past few months and everybody in tourism. And welcome home, Nancy. I've got a question in the budget, if I may ask. If that's all right. Noticed $160,000 for beautification. Can somebody elaborate on that? And I think I know what it is. I hope I know what it is, but I'd like a...
Can I respond, being this lady that's been here quite some time? When I first started, it was a ridiculous low amount. And we have just barked and barked because, if you go to just little smaller communities than ours, it's fabulous. They've got beautiful billboards, saying their town, their community, the flowers. We've come a long, long way on our beautification, but we're not there yet. We need to make this Berea outshine, and make people recognize. They're already recognizing us in the Southern Living and all these magazines. And so you want to raise it? Is that what you're proposing?
No, I was just hoping that's what it was for, because our little town is lacking in beautification. And I think this is a good way to spend some of the public's money where they can reap the benefits of it. And it also helps draw people to town. I hope some of this money goes to new and updated, I still say Christmas decorations. We need some new ones. And I don't know if anything can be done this year in time for the holiday season or not, but I think it's worth looking into. And if you need somebody to help do that, I'll be glad to. Whoever's going to do the flowers, I'll leave that to somebody else. Okay, thank you.
I do think that some of that money is reserved for some permanent planters for Berea and, some self-watering planters, and those are very expensive, I believe, so.
Yeah, a couple meetings ago, we discussed that. There's they're very, very expensive, but there's some really nice options out there that'll serve for many years to come, so.
They look very nice.
Yeah.
There was also a mention of a mural. When they on a wall, did we talk about that? on Old Town or something that we wanted to do or something that was be a part of that?
I remember something about that. I may not been
remember,
at
yeah.
that meeting where y'all discussed that. But
Yeah, something. I don't remember which building it was or.
That was the day you had anesthesia.
Yeah, station. I hobbled in here on crutches. I don't know. That's all I remember.
I think the mural was part, and correct me if I'm wrong, this might trigger some memories of that, part of the hotel kind of renovation or upkeep there in the old hotel building on the corner of Broadway and Artist Circle. I believe a mural was discussed on the side of that building, and a painting the outside of that building, if I'm not mistaken.
that'd be great.
I wanted to make a comment. Nancy, welcome back. So it's good seeing you. Also, I want to thank Allie for your presentation. It's been a while since I've been involved with the AMP and kind of understand the music festival. So appreciate that. And also appreciate the public comment. Thank you for saying what you did. That's all I got.
All right. No other comments? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that.
We have a motion? All right. All right. Any opposed? All right. Meeting's adjourned.